Hello, my name is Bryce Tubbs. With me today is John Burrell, and he is an agent at New York Life Insurance Company. I'm super excited to be able to, share a story with you guys and really get some great tips, especially when it comes to, client attraction and really how to prospect today, especially for coaches. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, John.
Hey, you're very welcome, Bryce. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Before we get started, for those watching, if you're watching this from any location outside of our free community, I just want to personally invite you to come and join us inside because the Mastermind where we help each other improve every single day. So if that's you, go on ahead and click on the link either above or below the video, and we'd love to have you in there and really see how we can benefit your life. Now, John, what was life like before you got into insurance, or what was the catalyst that brought you into the field?
Life was very different, Bryce. I was in the college football coaching world for over 20 years, and it's been about 5 years since I made the switch into a new career. There were a lot of things that went into that, and it's kind of a long story, but let's just say I had a lot of changes in my life and needed to make the change in careers as well.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. Oftentimes a lot of the challenges that insurance agents have in their first couple of years are similar to the challenges that, coaches and psychotherapists have. So they have to learn how to go drum up the clients, how to go get in front of them. Can you talk about some of the challenges that you faced, maybe overcame in those first couple of years?
Sure. Prospecting can be very challenging. I was pretty fortunate that as a coach, I was used to recruiting and reaching out to an audience to promote my product, which used to be a university or a college setting and a football program. But when it's promoting my own business, I did have a leg up, but at the same time, it was a totally new market, and I had to find that market. And I'm not from Maine, didn't know a lot of people here when I started. And so I just had to start reaching out and networking and meeting new people. And that's the biggest challenge is getting your pipeline filled with potential clients.
Now, let me ask you this question. So when you're first prospecting, do you start talking about like them as a person? Are you focused only on talking about insurance, or can you just talk about the prospecting kind of journey when you're approaching a new person?
I really try not to talk about what I have to offer much at all. Initially, I want to learn more about the person that I'm speaking to and what their challenges are, what their goals are. So that I can get an idea of how I might be able to position myself to help them. And so I try to avoid this. I don't come into the conversation with a specific goal in mind. I don't try to prejudge what I think I could sell them.
And then let me ask you this question. So is the balance of, right, because oftentimes a lot of people that I speak to are afraid to go talk strictly about, the personal side, because they're afraid that they're never really going to be able to turn that corner and really have it turn into either a coaching or business relationship. Can you kind of talk to those fears and kind of, what your experience has been?
Sure. The personal side of getting to know somebody and listening to them should inevitably lead to an opening to introduce your own business and what you do and how you help people like them. And, using an example of somebody who's in a similar position to them based on the information you've gathered from a brief conversation should give them some confidence that you know what you're doing, that you've worked with people like them in a similar scenario, and should open the door to more conversations.
And then can you talk about, even how to balance that many conversations, that many relationships at one time? Does it ever get confusing or?
Got to take notes. Make sure your CRM or whatever tool you're using that you take good notes so that you can remember the things that were important that came up. Could be about a person's family life, or it could be their dog's name, could be something specific about their business that will help you be more genuine the next time you have a conversation. Will help keep some of the things that are important to them at the top of their mind.
Mhm.
So I think notes are important. It can get confusing because you are talking to a lot of different people, um, and it can be especially confusing if you're caught off guard if they're contacting you.
Mhm.
Um, so caller ID can help. Sometimes not answering the phone and letting it go to voicemail can help. That way you can be the person who's directing the conversation when you return their call.
Mhm. That's actually a great thing. Can you talk about, so, one thing that I love to do is I love to be able to fill the calendar with appointments with people who are in my target market. Now, a lot of those calls don't actually end up being into clients. Do you consider that a waste of time? Do you consider that to be like beneficial?
I believe it's beneficial,
Yeah.
depending on what your business is and um, what your end goal is. We all fill a funnel with names, and ultimately that funnels down to much smaller number of clients. Um, you need to know your numbers. You need to know how many dials you need to make in order to get a certain amount of contacts, and how many of those contacts are going to turn into appointments. And it's a cliche, but every no is one step closer to a yes.
Uh,
And so you've got to work through that process to get the yeses.
that's a good point. Can you? Oh, yeah, that's even a greater point. Can you talk about disassociating yourself from a yes or from a no?
In what way, Bryce?
So, for example, sometimes I'll be on a we call them discovery calls for coaches, and the person will sometimes say they're really interested in doing a service at the beginning of the call, but by the end of the call they'll say they're not quite ready to go today. And, at least for me, the first about 2 years in business, that was always very frustrating because it'd be like, oh man.
Yeah, okay, I get it. So,
Yeah.
first of all, I think it's important to find out the why they're saying no, because it could be an objection that can be overcome. Um, there may be some confusion, the hesitancy. It, no isn't always a final no. It's a no, not now.
Mm,
And, find out why not now. And it might be something that, okay, that's great. Not now is fine. Would it be all right if I reconnect with you in 3 months or 6 months or a year? Um, and I think persistence is really important. And one of the most satisfying things that I get from clients is when they tell me, John, thank you for being so persistent. Thank you for not giving up on me. Um, and that may have been over the course of 2 years of trying to get in front of them and to help them ultimately.
mhm. Can we talk about, you brought up objection handling, like when to know how far to dig or even when to dig? Like sometimes a person will say no, but a no can mean or can have a different meaning or feeling attached to it depending on how they say it. Can you talk about really understanding when to go and ask that why question and when to really go and start listening to their objections?
Sure. So you've got to get the sense, kind of have your radar up of where the client is coming from and what that no means. Like you said, our automatic, we're programmed as people to say no. You walk into a store and you specifically need something,
Mm-hmm.
and you walk right past the clerk, and he or she says, "Can I help you?" And you say, "No, I'm just looking." Which is
Oh,
a complete lie. You're not looking. You need something, and it'd be a lot easier if you just said, "Yes, I need X. Where is it? Could you show me?" But we don't do that. So you've got to realize that that's a natural reaction to give that automatic no, and just ask more questions. Ask, why. Um, and if they give pushback, you don't. I never want to be a pushy, high pressure person. So if they do give pushback, just thank them for their time and wait for a better time to reconnect with them.
Mm. Wow, that's interesting. You know, the word I keep hearing a lot when we're speaking is follow up. You know, can you give us one of your favorite follow up stories to where, you know, like maybe the person flat out said no the first time, then after X amount of time they finally said yes?
Sure. I recently had a husband and wife become clients that I have grown to know, you know, from a personal level. Um, we've fished together, we've hung out, we've had dinner together, but they were never ready to take that step to do business with me. And I've known them for probably about 4 years.
Oh.
Um, and you know, just checking in periodically, and seeing how they're doing, and letting them know what I'm doing, what I'm working on. Uh, you know, we finally started working together less than, I talked to them yesterday. Their policies were put in place and enforced a couple of weeks ago.
Oh wow. That's really cool. You know, let me ask you this question. So just kind of thinking more towards the future and just really looking down the line, you know, what's the future look like for you, as far as you like to think or talk about?
Possibly moving into a management position within New York Life is certainly an option that I am going to look into. I'm not sure which side I want to be on ultimately, but with my coaching background, um, the ability to train and to lead other new agents certainly is something that is appealing to me. Um, I don't want to work forever, so I would like to position myself to be able to either work more part-time or not have to work in the next decade, perhaps. There's a lot of hunting and fishing and other things that I haven't been able to do a lot of that I need to catch up on.
Mm.
So, you know, those are two ideas that that I'm thinking about as far as my future goes. But in the short term, I just want to help as many people as I can, protect them and their families and their futures and their retirement.
You know, if someone's watching this and maybe they want to learn more about you or connect with you or maybe buy some insurance from you in the future, you know, where can they go to find more about you?
Well, probably the easiest thing to do is to just Google, John Burrell, New York Life. I have a Facebook business page. I have a page within New York Life that can certainly learn more about me. Also, LinkedIn is a great place to connect. That's where you and I connected. So I would say those three would be a good starting point.
Excellent. You know, thank you so much for your time. They really got a lot of value. At least I know I have like a page and a half worth of notes from you. So thanks.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Excellent. You know, for those watching, we thoroughly hope that you found this valuable. Now, you know, if you've been searching for a place where people are, you know, improving themselves and helping others to do the same, basically a mastermind, we come and support each other. I recommend you come and check out our free community by clicking the links either above or below the video. Now, hopefully you enjoyed watching this as much as we enjoyed creating it. Feel free to hit that share button so other people can get some great value as well. Have a great day. We will talk to you soon. We'll see you in the next video. Have a great one, guys. Thanks. We're done recording in 3 and 2 and 1.